Step 3, you grow hard about what you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.
Welcome to Tales from the Field. My name is Bradley Ball, and we are back and better than ever. Look at this lineup that I have for you today. No Bradley Shat. He is on vacation, and enjoy that vacation, Mr. Shat. But at the same time, I also want to say happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. I know that it's veterans in the U.S. I believe it's Armistice Day, and it's Veterans Day worldwide as well because of the end of World War II. It's a wonderful time. If you know a veteran, make sure and say thank you. But also maybe if you see them in line, you're at a Starbucks or something like that, offer them a cup of coffee, thank them for their service, for all they do for us throughout the year. And of course, I am joined by some amazing people. We got a great lineup for you. I have Mr. Josh Ludeman. And Josh, you are on vacation this weekend, so thank you so much for joining us. Yes. And then I have from the Data Cat team, Mr. Mark Price-Mayer, all the way from the lovely England, beautiful land of wonderful England. And then we have the principal applied data scientist, Niraj Jafari, my ride or die, as you always know. And then it has been so long since we've had you on, Alex. It feels like it has been forever, but it's so great to see you, Mr. Alex Powers from the Data Cat team. So, gentlemen, how you doing? We just had Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, Thanksgiving. Geez, Thanksgiving is coming. It is the will be. Halloween was the win. How have you been, and what did you do, will do, and maybe fun will be had this past weekend and future weekends? I'm not sure the question. Josh, what do you got?
What? I was going to say, I was waiting for someone else to answer because I have no idea what the question was. This weekend,
I just realized my headset is disconnected. So whatever Josh is saying, I'm sure it's hilarious. And now he's going to take advantage of the fact that I can't hear him. But that's okay, Josh. Just looks done. Just keep talking. Eventually,
we can hear you, Josh.
I can hear you, Josh.
There we go.
Can't. It's Brad.
Oh, it's Brad. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it was me. I'm back now. I can hear. Yeah. I can see you moving. I'm going to assume it was greatness.
I don't know what the question was really because it kind of. I didn't.
Josh, it's a very simple question. Halloween was, Thanksgiving will be. And what wonderful plans will have potentially on the weekends that you have done or did?
I was going to say the first two were statements. You're like, the question is easy. Statement. And I'm still sitting here going, question? Oh, there it is. No. So yeah, just did some good relaxing to start off week off this week. And then after we get off of this call, I get to jump into one of my fun hobbies, woodworking, going with a friend of mine out to Mecca to pick up a bunch of plywood and make some new cabinets for my power tools this week. So fun stuff.
That does sound like some fun stuff. How about you, Mark?
Over Halloween, I did some scare acting. So I jump out at people. I get dressed up. It's not randomly on the street where I jump out at people. It is in a theme park.
That's the rest of the year.
Yeah. That's what I wear, the clown outfit the rest of the year. Jump out at people. I have the chainsaw and everything.
That's you. I knew it. It makes so much sense now.
I was going to say, Mark, you move here and you can do that at Universal. They pay people to do that. It's called Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios.
Sequel Bits 2023. Mark actually was incredibly impressive. I mean, you had these stilts and you were like this Gorgon or some Reaper type of Dungeons and Dragon thing in the background. I forget what it was, but what were you? You were at least like 9-10 feet tall. It was amazing.
Well, I'm glad that I looked 9 feet tall. I probably only had an extra foot, so I was probably only about 7.5 foot tall. But they were homemade wooden stilts, so it is quite fun dressing up. I do quite like that. That sounded really bad, didn't it? I do like dressing fancy dress. Not just dressing up in anything. I have boundaries.
There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah.
I'm getting myself into trouble now. Stop it.
Yes. I don't think you have to have boundaries though. I think that's quite. You know what? Maybe.
I'll pop into the chat. I've got some photos of the different Sequel Bits costumes, and I'm
going to take this moment to say Happy Veterans Day from the UK from Mr. Rob Carroll. Rob, thank you so much for joining us. Good to see you, my friend. But you're gonna throw in the chat for us to be able to see some of your Sequel Bits costumes through the year, which have always been fantastic. Last year, 2 years ago, you won the Sequel Bits costume contest with your Up costume, which was quite fantastic. He was the house and had all the balloons with him, and many people enjoyed those balloons. Many people, many people.
Yes.
Niraj,
yes.
How about you, my friend? What will be had happened the weekends?
Niraj, we can't hear you.
No,
I know what Josh got.
There we go.
Oh no, there it is.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, whenever Josh comes, this is a issue.
You're making it sound like Josh is an issue.
I didn't say that. I just said that he makes everybody mute. Anyway, Ellen was great. Just partied around. Had a couple of friends around. We went around, had candies with the kids. The younger one taking her around and then coming back. The past weekend, I had one of my friend who is turning 50 in a couple of days. So we gave a surprise party. Went out, partied almost all night on Saturday night. Drink, bowling, eating, all sorts of things. And then for Thanksgiving, nothing major planned. I have usually one of my school friends comes over and then we just hang around, kids and then go around doing their own things. So that's all the plan for it.
Mark is not quite yet aware of the theme for next Sequel Bits, but also Mr. Alex Powers, I think it's your turn. Niraj, we're gonna have to get together and have some more fun on Thanksgiving, because I think you and me we could really throw down. It's one of my favorite holidays. Alex, how about you? What has been, what will be for weekends?
So I look at the calendar and I was like, maybe Halloween was last week. Like, time is like just flying by so quickly this year. October 31st, I was in Vegas for the Power Platform Conference, delivering a workshop, introducing Fabric to Power BI professionals, and it was awesome. And I was just reminded how much like low code, no code crowd absolutely wants robust tools that are scalable, easy to use, simple UIs, but also some people are like, give me the REST API. So it was really cool to kind of be in that audience, which I honestly haven't hung out with in a while. It's been a lot of data professionals, data engineers, etc. Got to see Christina Aguilera that week too, and she was amazing. So that was a big highlight. But right now,
I'm always amazed by her vocal range. Her vocal range is just stupendous. I mean, and it's not something that's dwindled with age either.
No.
I mean, from just an a cappella perspective, she could be up there with any of the greats. I mean, she's phenomenal.
Just talent from beginning to end. She was such a fun time. And luckily I got to convince Patrick LeBlanc from my team to go out, and he was like, this is the best thing I've seen. So it was just so cool. And then again, I'm like blinking, and next week is Ignite. So if anyone's going out to Ignite, I'll see you there. A lot of really cool announcements. And then of course, just how do we integrate even closer to M365 applications and services with Fabric? So my head is spinning. The most important thing is, getting through airports. So to all of our government worker friends, thank you for getting us through during a difficult time. And then hopefully through this, getting some money in your paycheck as well. So that's been the big, will I be stuck in San Francisco? But that's not even important. Hey, thank you, everyone. Thanks, veterans, for your services. And then thanks, government workers as well. So that's where my mind is kind of at the moment, Brad.
Absolutely. No, I'm with you. And it's one of those easy things to forget. As someone who worked in the government for a long time, even if you're a contractor out there, during a government shutdown, if you're on the essential personnel list, you get the pleasure of continuing to work. But you also, if you're not on the essential personnel list, they tell you to go home and take vacation. And you run out of vacation after a while. And then as an independent contractor, it's prepared to take unpaid leave, or maybe if you're lucky, we'll find a new project for you. So you're absolutely right. There's a lot of people to think about in this time of year when everything that's happening is happening, because regardless of wherever people sit on the ideological spectrum, you know, you always want to be able to have money to take care of your family, but especially as you get closer to the holidays, this is a very tough time for people. And so our hope is that, you know, there's good news on the horizon. Some of this is going to be over soon, and hopefully by the time that there is the week that we do celebrate, everybody gets to be able to celebrate with their families and friends as they've been hoping to for quite a while.
Yeah.
So on that note, I am going to say I had a fantastic Halloween. My daughter Chesney and her husband Mike came down from New York to be able to celebrate with us. Halloween is her birthday, and so it's always a big party. We gave out tons of candy bars. I made chai tea white Russians, which was the drink of the Halloween party, and everybody really seemed to enjoy those. My son William dressed up as one of those, you know, air guys like at the car dealerships with the waving arms. It was hysterical, and he felt like it was taking too long for trick or treaters to get to our house, and so he was literally running all over the neighborhood, like pointing like this towards our house and yelling, "We have full size candy bars." So it was. I have so many videos of him just running as fast as he could with little tiny steps in that outfit. It was hysterical and a good time. But speaking of a good time, we got some updates. The last week of Halloween, it was definitely a treat. Now, one of the things I do want to make sure to say to folks, so I'm gonna share this out right now. We're gonna make sure that this is in the description of the video. But if you want to follow along, we've got some links specifically to the announcement blog. Now, anything we want to discuss is open. We don't have to necessarily stick with the announcement blog. So if there's any other blog that has contained a feature that you're excited about that may have come out since the announcement blog, feel free to go ahead and go through this. There's a lot of great stuff that we have to be able to come. But one thing that we do want to note, we're going to be back together on December the 9th. On December the 9th, we're going to do our
You froze. It was so
Okay,
important.
I thought it was just me.
Oh my
On
god.
December the 9th, we're actually going to do our Ignite wrap up. I'll go ahead and pick up from Brad on that and just keep the show flowing.
Oh.
But yeah, the Ignite
got it.
blog,
Yeah, sorry about that.
Wrap up December 9th.
My bad, everybody. I literally got a Teams call from an unknown number, and it somehow spiked my CPU where my machine started going as you're tracking the mouse across the screen. I'm like, this isn't good. This is not good.
Continue, Brad. We just finished your sentence is all.
Thank you. So thank you for taking care of it. So December the 9th, we will be back. We're discussing post Ignite, and boy, there's going to be a lot for us to cover at that point in time. So let's go ahead and let's file on right now. I'm going to go around the room, and so no tricky wordplay this time. Josh, I'm going to put you up first, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen real quick, just so that way we can take a look at the blog. I've shared this out on the link, and Alex is right. It's always Teams. It's never not Teams. But we have a couple key things. So first off, Fabric Days start next week. This has already happened. The Fabric Days has begun, and you want to make sure if you had a chance that you participate in it. But also, I want you to keep in mind FabCon is back. Now, we tweeted out, we've shared links to this, and I just shared a link a little while ago. As a matter of fact, I don't see it in the comments popping up here, so I'm going to share it one more time. But SQLCon US is the site for SQLCon. This is going to be a conference going on at the exact same time in the exact same place as FabCon. And here's the great thing. I always love it when we can have a conference where we get multiple conferences in one. You really get a value for your dollar, and you can participate and you can learn from so many different people. So in Atlanta, in March, when we're having FabCon, SQLCon is also going on. Same event. I participated in the SQL Conf, the original SQLCon that they did out in June in Seattle. And it was a fantastic event. And I just want to say that to the organizers, they did a wonderful job, and we really appreciate them and all the hard work that they've done. So, Josh, I'm going to go ahead. What is something that you would like to go to? Because we have a lot of different announcements that we can cover.
Yeah, in for me, the one that really caught my eye was related to the more file format support in Data Factory. For me, earlier in my career in analytics and in business intelligence, I covered a lot of the HD insight and a lot of the, customers looking to move to cloud from from a Hadoop environment and stuff like that. So being able to include ORC and Avro and stuff like that, that popped for me and caught my eye out of the announcements for this month. But again, I probably a little bit more of a of a selective viewer in that case. I know it's not going to necessarily entertain the masses, but from the standpoint of customers who maybe are still running on-premises Hadoop environments where they may be still using Avro or ORC, that ability to then move those, copy that information into a Fabric environment, for me, it just opens up a new avenue of users.
Absolutely. I do enjoy this a lot because you're absolutely right. Anybody who's got data, the first thing you got to do with any analytic solution is you get data into. You got to go get it. And this is part of that key of go get it. Go get that data, bring it in, and then we could talk about where we want to store it. I feel like since he's left, I'm trying my best to continue on with the thought process Buck Woody had. And so Buck was always talking about how the simple processes were go get it, and then you got to store it, and then you got to use it. And so oftentimes when we look at it, it's easy to look at solutions and make them much more complicated than they are. But one of the key things that I think is if we just fundamentally break it down to that's every analytics project that we've got. So Mark, I'm going to send it over to you next. I didn't see anything specifically on mirroring, and I know mirroring is your love language, but that doesn't mean that we don't have something in the other blogs. Is there, what is a feature in the update that you're excited about?
There wasn't anything specifically in mirroring, but I was going to pick up on the DI, the copy job, because I do a lot of stuff on copy job. There's also some new features in copy job which haven't been mentioned, which the ability to copy across tenants. Although it's not on that monthly blog, it's actually on the blog that's just come out. I think it came out on the 20th of October. Sorry, I need new glasses. So on the mirroring side, there's going to be some interesting announcement at Ignite.
I was going to say there's going to be so many interesting things. We just can't get to it yet. It's like it's on the tip of our tongue. There's so many, but we can't talk about it.
What I have been playing with literally this morning with copy job is actually, you forget the number. So copy job is relatively new. It's a bit like the copy activity, but it's intelligent and it's sort of self-aware. So it knows about stuff, unlike sort of copy activity. But there's lots of sources in there. So I was using copy job today to move data from Dataverse, because people are really interested in mirroring data from Dataverse. And we don't have mirroring yet, but there's a plan for that for Dataverse. There's Synapse, there's Fabric Link for Dataverse, but there's a cost issue with the amount of storage it takes up in Dataverse. But you can move that data out using copy job. And I hadn't even considered using it till I was discussing with an MVP today, and she was showing me, look, we'll just hit copy, we'll use copy job. Look, Dataverse is an option. And there's so many other sources in there. And I think it's so new and people just haven't had the chance to explore it and play with it. So if you want to move some data, look at copy job.
I completely agree with that. Alex, please go ahead.
I want to highlight the point that Mark just said, which was there's a cost component. The cost is on the database storage within Dataverse. Yeah. You do have an allotted storage amount, so you could actually be within your storage, but if you exceed that, then the pricing of the gigabyte per on Dataverse is just a slightly bit higher than customers would possibly like. Provide that feedback back to the Dataverse engineering teams. otherwise, Mark, I'm like, the Fabric Link integration is amazing. Click a button, everything's up and running. So
yeah, and it does everything though. That's one of the other challenges. So people who only want a couple of tables,
no, you can now select. You can now select.
Oh, okay. Because if you look, oh, right, they haven't updated the documentation because I was looking at it yesterday.
Oh, Mark, don't worry, I got your back, buddy.
but when the
remember,
comes out, it will be good.
I was going to say the site is ideas.fabric.microsoft.com.
Hey,
and
if make sure Dataverse team hears it too, man. Not just us. Like everyone's got to hear it. So,
well, and let me ask: does the feedback that they give on the ideas site, does that get passed over to the Dataverse team, or is there a different mechanism we should use?
For sure, cross-team dependencies exist, but their priorities are not always your priorities are not always their priorities. So, the more that we can kind of add to that noise, the larger the amplification.
And I think that's very important. If you've got a unified support contract, if you've got a CSA, you should log this with them, because CSAs have a mechanism to be able to get that feedback directly to the product groups, and they can help leverage that to be able to get that to the Dataverse team. If you are a customer who is deeply involved with them, if you're meeting with representatives of that team, that's a wonderful place for you to provide that feedback as well. But still go to ideas.fabric.microsoft.com. Give us your ideas. But absolutely, Alex, it's one of those things that I found Microsoft runs on feedback, but people have to make sure to give that feedback to let the product groups know where are they blocked. And if somebody's blocked from a financial perspective, that's a blocker just as much as it is a technical perspective. And that's feedback that needs to be given, because the last thing we want to hear is that you can't use a service because it's too expensive, which is the truth.
The only thing I'd add is just play with it. We're changing stuff all the time. Go in, if you're not sure, try it. If you want to move some data, try it in CopyJob, try it in ADF, try it in Fabric Pipelines, not ADF. I'm sorry, I keep using the old term, but try it in pipelines, try it in whatever, but try it out first, because sometimes our documentation isn't up to date and you can do things and you're not always aware that you can. So go and play.
Yeah, and I love this, Alex. This is the integration between Microsoft Fabric and the blog for Dataverse. Yep. And so if people are interested, this is exactly what we're talking about. And this is really key. Like for anybody who's using Dataverse, this is one of those key things to know that we do have that capability to be able to pull in and to be able to manage that. And look at that, manage tables. There's a lot of functionality and a lot of great features sitting in here. Alex, please take it away, sir.
No, I was going to say, we release so much all the time. So everyone on this panel, we're always learning from each other too. So moments like this where we get to like stop and just like hang out, like here is something that I saw. Oh my gosh, that totally passed my eye. So I just love kind of being able to share this article. And it again, to me, it's such a cool feature to be able to like just set up an integration and not even worry about a pipeline, not worry about a solution, just having it be fully managed. So big fan.
Absolutely. So Niraj, yeah, I'm coming to you next. So I am very curious what it is that you are really excited about, and I'm trying to leave all these tabs open so that way at the end of the broadcast I will put all the different links in here that we've covered other than just the update from October. So keeping the tabs rolling. If anybody has a link that they want me to cover, feel free to throw it into our internal chat. We will share it out on the stream for anybody who's watching live, but then we'll also make sure and get it in the description of the video at the end of this.
Yep.
Niraj, what's something that you're really interested in?
So from the data science part of it, the new authorization experience for data agent creators was definitely something that I was interested or looking into it. Just because being in the data science team now, this really going to help us out, right? I mean, having the interface where you can do data and the setup at the same point of time and have it next to each other, and then you can compare it out, do all sorts of things. Definitely is going to be a good experience for people to do it in the same pan, looking at data, plus setting it up and getting it moving up there. And I know, Alex, you were saying something on it. Go ahead.
No, you stole mine.
Oh, sorry.
We're both excited about that.
So, and I'm actually going to be making a video for next week where I'm covering some of the changes to this, because, and it's really important for people to understand, none of the functionality went away. This just looks a little bit different. We have the capability to utilize Markdown for the instructions. But then also you still have data source instructions, but the data source instructions used to be listed over the data source on the right-hand pane. That pane has gone away. If you click on the data source, you can open it up and you get a screen just as big as the agent instructions. It opens up as a tab right there. So you can put in your data instructions, you can put in your data source instructions, your agent instructions. And then also you can still have, when you're using anything like KQL or something that uses the SQL Analytics endpoint, you can put in example queries as well. And those example queries, I find, are critically important to being able to help build that RAG pattern. And when I look at this, because I talk with people all the time and I've worked with customers where we'll use Foundry, we'll use Copilot Studio, and we've done a bunch of videos on this as well. And they'll say, when do I use these other ones with a data agent? And the really interesting thing is there is functionality that we have in Foundry and in Copilot Studio we don't have in data agents. There's functionality in data agents that it would be impossible to have really with any other data source the same way that we do within data agents. Within data agents, we can make those data source instructions. We can put those example queries in there, and you're using your instruction space, which is a limited number of characters, whenever you're utilizing Foundry or or something else. Sorry, I just saw the comment. Where's my Brad chat? I go on one vacation and you let Mark on. Brad, this was the whole sneaky reason that I've moved us back an hour, was so that we could get Mark. It conflicted with his team call the other time that we were doing. So yes, the British are here. There we go. Hope you're enjoying that vacation up there in the beautiful Asheville, North Carolina area, Mark, or Brad. So what I love about this, again, so what makes this special is those query instructions, the data source instructions. So that way, if you have joins, you can put that in place. And then when you go over to Foundry or you go over to Copilot Studio, you have additional tools. Like, this is perfect if we're reading from. You don't have the capability to write to data using a data agent. You need a tool that you can use in Foundry to be able to use some type of MCP system to write back. And so if you want to read and you also want to functionally write, if you're building that AI agent to be able to assist you, you're going to be looking for that application context. That's really where Foundry, that's really where Copilot Studio shine, and we start to put those things in effect. But these instructions are so critical because it's how we teach the agent to act. And there's so many neat things. Again, there's some AI things coming up when we get to Ignite, and I can't say anything, but oh my goodness, we're going to be making some headlines, and it's good. I mean, there are some really cool things. There's some things going into public preview from private preview. Just I cannot wait for a couple of weeks from now when we get to talk about this stuff in December. I think I'm still looking forward to the holidays and enjoying that a little bit. I don't want to just blink my eyes and we're there, but it's going to be a good time. So Alex, yeah, Mark does. He does. He has all the blackmail and the video to prove it. AI things that Ignite, I should probably recheck my lab. No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. It's good. It's okay. So Alex, we're over to you, and I'm very excited. What's the thing that you are excited about? And it could be a blog that has come out.
There's so much.
Yeah.
So let me rattle through the list. Well, first, Niraj, since he stole my thunder, I wanted to talk about the Power Platform Workshop. I always like to make it fun for the attendees. So when we got to the data agents portion, I said, who wants to come up on stage and build one live if you've never done it before? And gentlemen in the crowd came up, hit new item, started building his data agent, started getting responses, started getting chats back, started building ASCII character visuals from the data. And I was just like, he's now at the point of jailbreaking it. But the new authoring experience, it took me off guard because even some of the buttons and things that moved, I was like, I don't know, like it used to be over here, but now you have a massive window. You have all these other new cool authoring experiences. Those moments where we can take a customer out of their that's too far out of reach for me to build and say, here you go. You've never even touched the keyboard. Go for it. You're now building generative AI agents. Wild to think that we've lowered the bar for any user. So it doesn't have to be a quote unquote data scientist or professional in this domain. It could be a business analyst, could be low code user, could be anyone that can now start building data agents. So Niraj, that was just like such a cool feature to kind of call out. Brad, the thing you didn't do justice to at the very beginning of this, if we could go back to the top of the article, if you don't mind, sir.
Oh yeah, no, let's do it. Here we go.
Fabric Data Days. This is 40 days, I believe, of learning. So constant events all across the internet. So it could be multiple languages, YouTube, it could be some type of challenges. Oh my gosh. Taking advantage of this, everyone. You get free certification opportunities for DP600, DP700, just for participating. Especially if you're new to Fabric, if you're trying to get into it, or if you're like doing a lot with it today and you're like, well, I'm looking for new things that I haven't touched yet. This is a great opportunity. Please take advantage of the learning here. The FabCon, SQLCon, that one's kind of interesting to me, just because I talked to a lot of the SQL folks. I'm like, well, how do I get you into the party? Like, you have such a vast wealth of information around transactional systems, which I'll be honest with you, I'm more of an analytics person. I'm just trying to connect to the data. So now the fact that we're co-joined at the same event, oh my gosh, Brad, I'm going to be in as many SQL sessions as I can possibly attend just to boost my understanding a little bit more of, well, what can SQL database and Fabric do? I think you'll see a little bit more of that at Ignite. So a little teaser there. But I think Cosmos DB has a huge opportunity in Fabric. Whatever else databases we can kind of add as well. We just need everyone at the party with all of your domain knowledge. Please consider attendance here. I just think it'll be an awesome event in Atlanta. I'll maybe pause there, Brad. Any thoughts?
I completely agree. So one of the things I have talked about quite often, Mark, you and I did this, especially when we made our videos for the pre-con we did at SQL Bits several years ago. But I came here from the community. The people that I meet inside of Microsoft who went to college, applied to work at Microsoft, and they just happened to be working at Microsoft, that's weird to me. I worked at a whole lot of different places. I presented in the community. I became an MVP. I got an invitation to join Microsoft. And so I am not here at Microsoft, this career I've had thus far, without going and participating in the community. And the SQL community in particular is where I started. I mean, that's why the name on everything is SQL Balls, because SQL was the thing that, and still is very much, that I'm passionate about. I was so excited to see this because you get 2 sessions you can submit to FabCon. Well, we got a third one when SQLCon was added. And I'm just sitting here racking my brain. I've got so many different SQL presentations. Alex, I may run some by you just to see what you think, but I love presenting at events, and it's always a big crowd whenever you present at SQL, because it's fundamental information. People are always going to use databases. They're always going to use data stores. They're going to come up with the same issues over and over again. How do I get data into? How do I make it faster? And how do I understand this so I can make good decisions about the system? So being able to go, I'm going to go to this amazing Fabric session, and then I'm going to go to this amazing SQL session, and I get to go back and forth. Bob Ward is going to be Bob Ward SQLing the heck out of FabCon for SQLCon, and I can't wait for that. But at the same time, then I'm going to get to go over and enjoy the Power Hour. I mean, this is a combination, a wonderful thing that you haven't been able to see sandwiched together before. So we're going to have all the SQL goodness and all the wonderful Fabric goodness just mixed together. I mean, that's some SQL Fabric magic. Mark, go ahead.
So while we're on the SQL stuff, have you seen the new change to Management Studio? That it will now, if you connect to Fabric, it will go, this is a lake house and a warehouse.
We covered that in the last update, and I love this because one of the things people have been asking for over and over again is, hey, we've got this crazy long GUID, and my end users don't know what this GUID means, and when they're looking at it on the interface, they get confused, and now they get this connection, and it's the workspace name. And so we've got this beautiful friendly, I mean, if you think about this, my kudos to the PMs on this, because what an elegant solution to be able to have for this, to be able to, because people have been asking for network aliases. They've been asking to be able to rename these things so that way they could do it. But what do? You name the workspace exactly what you wanted. And so, yeah, I think this is just absolutely brilliant. Not only that, I'm working on a video for this one too. I didn't know if you guys knew this. Did you know for SQL 2022, if you have a GitHub developer license for GitHub developer, you can use that for Copilot in SSMS?
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. Copilot and SSMS using GitHub Developer Studio. I mean, come on now. Like, we've already got access to this. It's amazing, unbelievable models that you can use with GitHub Developer. And now it's so easy to set up that I had to rope Dan into the video because me doing it alone wasn't enough. I would have been done with the video in like 30 seconds. All I have to do is log in with my Intra ID connected to my GitHub developer account. Bam, I've got Copilot in SSMS enabled using my GitHub license. I mean, and it's the models backing that. Amazing and fantastic stuff. I mean, so I'm going to throw it up there one more time. Shout out to Aaron and the SSMS updates, doing a brilliant job. That team is just doing amazing. And there's all kinds of wonderful things to come. You know, if I were a betting person, I would bet you SQLCon and FabCon together. Maybe we're going to hear some good stuff. Who knows?
Can we have a new name for you? Fab balls versus SQL balls.
I'm gonna go lock down that profile now.
Oh gosh.
Oh, and I was worried about people getting the wrong impression with SQL balls.
All right, Brad, a couple more. Adaptive target file size.
Oh yes, let's go back to it. Yeah, here we go.
Josh, was that you?
Yeah, you beat me to it. That was one I had on deck, but you go right with it, Alex. That's awesome.
No, I was going to say my colleague Miles had really kind of called this out. And, some really good. I think he had a standalone blog article, maybe out in the Fabric blog, but these freaking Parquet file management, like, is that really the best time that you want to spend, or do you just want to have it auto optimized? And to see that a lot of these benefits kind of came through, making both reads and writes faster here, and then just making the system handle a lot more of that management through the optimized command. I thought it was really cool. But go ahead.
And just to break down what this is, right? Like, Josh, tell me, what is adaptive file size?
Well,
Pretend I don't know.
So adaptive target file size basically is looking at the size of the file and you're looking at some different metrics around the file and being able to size the file or files in a way that works better with the actual Spark engine, right? I use this example when Hadoop was the big craze, and I had a session on that everybody would complain that querying that ridiculous little test file CSV was like, oh, I could do that quicker filtering it in Excel. Well, yeah, because you had a really small file and it took longer time to assess it than to process it. So, the adaptive target file size looks at it and goes, we don't want to make a bunch of small files because the scheduler will take longer than just to process it. But then when you start getting into larger files, you can't exactly have any kind of parallelism to have the different workers looking at different sections of the file. So it breaks it down properly to be basically a better file size to get the peak performance out of querying or writing to the files as it's going through.
And it's tough work to do, to be able to figure out what the optimal file size is. And as you can see, the optimal file size is adaptive from this graph that's on the screen. It wasn't the exact same for every single type of THCP DS 1 terabyte query workload. It used different file sizes to be able to store that data relative to the execution that would be best optimized for the engine. So what this does is this takes the complex work of figuring out what target file size would be to be able to optimize this, and then sending over those files in that. I mean, this is a task that was really tough to do, especially when you think about systems where you just want to land the data and then instantaneously use it. This shortcuts that to where you get to do it, and it's faster. I mean, they could have named this Spark is faster, and it would be accurate.
Yeah.
No, Alex, That's a great call out on this. I love this as well. And it's a wonderful thing. Here's what I keep noticing about Spark. I keep noticing that we get all these different features to be able to optimize it, to be able to make it faster, because out of the box, if you look at this, there's a lot of tuning that you can do. And where we are right now with Microsoft Fabric, this is one of the things I love. I'm still looking for the next place we're going to teach this, but we've got a pre-con where it's an introduction to Microsoft Fabric for the data expert. Last place I gave it was in June at DataCon out in Seattle. We have given that same pre-con about 6 different times. It is never the same pre-con because we have to update it, because fundamentally there are things that would have been difficult. We didn't have mirroring when we started out with this. We didn't have some of the adaptive processes to be able to make data flow Gen 2 faster. Parameters, originally when you're looking at being able to do that, now we have a variable library. Now we have parameters that we can do. It's not just notebooks to pipelines, and pipelines back to notebooks, and now it's to data flow Gen 2 as well. And so there is a constant evolution of the product. Part of the reason that we do this as a monthly update is because things keep changing. We don't like to sit still over here. We are always inventing and adapting and finding new things to be able to build. And what was difficult yesterday is going to be easier today. What was this? No, I won't start with that again. Sorry. All right. So I think I'm up at this point in time. So there's a lot of wonderful things for us to be able to keep going on. I loved the data science engineering process, but I would, Brad Schatt not being here, I would, somebody's got to represent for him. So that the capability to be able to read and ingest JSON-L files, to be able to pull that in, I think that's a wonderful thing, because a lot of the data we get nowadays is stored in JSON. I remember when I was in college and I had a professor just going on and on talking about XML and how XML would revolutionize how we stored things, how we utilized it in applications. And I often look at JSON and go, well, you were a little early. JSON was the thing. It seems to have won the storage formatting space, but it's how we store data for applications and things like that. So having the capability to be able to read this data in and then utilize it with JSON to be able to read these files in bulk, and the advancements that we've made with the open row set functionality. The one thing we're missing that I can't wait for, that I bet you we get a year from now, I'm going to have this, but I really want my OneLake storage attached to my warehouse. So that way I can right click on objects in it and I can open it up with open row set to be able to read those files the same way I could in Synapse. I know we've got customers who have been asking for that. And that's the thing is you had to have the underlying foundation. When we got Open Row Set, at first Open Row Set worked with Azure storage, not OneLake. Now it works with OneLake. Now we have multiple data sources coming into place. Literally, we're just a GUI tool away from being able to have that. The functionality is all there. And if you were looking for this functionality, and that was one of the things that prevented you from moving to Synapse to Warehouse, this isn't a blocker any longer. And I would imagine we're going to get a whole slew of announcements coming up in a couple of weeks that are going to be absolutely amazing. But kudos to the data warehouse team. I was very excited to see that the features and functionality are in here and are growing. We're wrapping all the way back around. Josh, you're going to be up next, so I'm curious what you got for me. Again, this wasn't, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I was actually thinking of our friend Mr. Schatt as well, and understanding that I should probably take every Spark feature that we talk about and match it with a warehouse, because otherwise he tends to get a little testy, a little angered slightly. So I was actually looking at a different one, though. That was my number 2. For me, you know me, I look at the operational side a lot of this stuff and really kind of focusing on those features. So the compaction preemption feature in the engine, where it's basically taking the compaction and making it take a back seat, so to speak, to updates and deletes and merges, so that it stops that locking and blocking in some cases that can happen to user workloads. That right there, I was like, well, that's again, DBA hat on from back in the day. You know, you're removing some of that opportunity to have issues that I have to deal with. I'm all about it. But yeah, you know, I felt Brad someone needed to throw him a bone. He was already jealous that Mark was here instead of him. So I feel like, you know, you had to give him something.
Well, you know, we all bring it together in December. Brad will have his chance to be here as well. But I agree with this. I love this from an internals perspective, right? Like, again, this is taking the difficult and making it simple. We're actually going in and we're editing the way that the optimization compaction works for Delta to be able to say, let user interactions go, don't block this. So this works, which is interesting because we're looking at something that is optimistic in concurrency by default, by the way that Delta Lake and transactions work. And so to actually find something that was blocking where we can optimize performance and then say, hey, we'll do compaction after the fact, but let the user processes run, give them priority. That also suggests the priority system that we have within the scheduler, which again, as an internal guy, not going to lie, makes me want to geek out on that a bit more. That is some really great and fun stuff. Now, and so Alex, you just had a wonderful comment, and I do want to give a shout out to Sean here because Sean Maribel built this amazing tool that does an ADF Synapse data pipeline migration to Fabric pipelines. And Niraj, you put out the link for this, and I'm looking for this right now because I'm going to grab this and we're going to throw this in the tab because this is very, very worthy of going into the documentation that we have as well in the header of the video.
Just a warning, if you get Sean on to talk about it, he will talk about it for the whole 4 hours of the stream. And he will focus on vibe coding is sounds terrible, it sounds dirty, but actually what you can do
I mean, it's legal in many states now.
Yes, but you still have to be over 21. So
exactly, yeah.
We were talking when he was building it, and I was going, what's this vibe coding? I mean, you know, it's what hipsters do. I mean, and then when he showed me what you can do with GitHub Spark, and you can literally just put in what you want to build, and it will be. You can write a Space Invaders game in like one line. You say, I want to write a Space Invaders type game. It will build it for you.
And just to clarify, we aren't talking about Spark like we talk about the engine. There's another product called GitHub Spark that allows you to be able to build applications in GitHub using just Copilot. And Mark, you built some amazing things, but Sean built this using GitHub Spark. I mean, it's a wonderful testimonial to what can be done. This can be used for anyone looking to migrate these packages, and he's done a lot of work here.
Yeah. You've got to do a bit, so you can start it off, and I think he then moved over to some other tools because GitHub Spark will keep rewriting it and will actually. It's really good at that, getting an 80% demo done, getting a prototype out there. It is amazing for doing that, and so he went off to some other tools to finish it off, and he keeps adding stuff to it. So I think this one just does ADF. I'm not sure if it does.
No, it does Synapse as well.
It is doing. He's added those bits in. Oh, excellent.
Yeah, he's constantly adding new functionality. The thing he's missing though is feedback. So especially if you're a consultant, if you're internal, you're doing a kind of modernization project. Oh my gosh, he built the tool. I also want to highlight like deep expert. He knows this very well. So. His domain expertise, he can close any gaps that you may find, but he's looking for that feedback. So please, use the tool, open up issues on the repository as well, if anything needs to be fixed. But yeah, this is crazy that he just vibed this out.
Agreed. And very well needed too.
It was days of work, so it was very quick to get it up and running. Yeah. You could do a whole vibe coding session.
Mark, you know what would be great? If the Tales from the Field YouTube channel did a short little video demonstrating the tool so we could share it with everyone.
I think that'd be a wonderful idea. I think I'm going to be reaching out to Sean to find some time available with him because I'd really love to get this recorded before the end of the year and get this up and running because it is fantastic work. It's something that we get such a backlog. We get so busy with work, but I literally have a Word doc that's filled with nothing but video ideas. And if I ever sit there and go, oh geez, what was something I was looking for a video idea? I open that up and this is on there because I instantly open this up. I think it was Mark Cromer I saw retweet or repost on LinkedIn for Sean. And I mean, if you ever work with Sean is just wicked smart, wonderful, nice guy. But
Hate him.
wow, does he know his stuff when it comes to programming and
young, awful person,
good looking, kind, all the things that Mark loves to be.
Nasty person, terrible human being.
Probably doesn't wake up sore every single day.
He apparently he tries to run animals down in his car. Tells me about that. He's just an awful person.
Allegedly. That's
allegations.
I feel like Mark needs this coffee cup. I mean, wow, Mark.
It's a brand new rumor.
We've got an extra vote for a demo from Rob because Sean's amazing and definitely does not do any of the things that Mark said. But it's easy to be jealous of someone.
Definitely
like
doesn't. No, he's never hurt anyone by accident. No, it's always on purpose. No, I didn't. No, sorry.
Oh man,
it's not live. Not like it's live or recorded, is it?
We can edit that part out.
Yeah,
we'll edit it out in post.
No, nobody remember that down. Okay. So. Other than that, did anybody else have something they were excited about? I've kind of lost my place, and we should probably talk about something else now. Alex, go ahead.
The one that I was maybe surprised that it wasn't listed here. One Security.
Oh,
it finally dropped.
Yes.
It's out in people's hands now. Out in public
Absolutely. Dude, I don't, I was just looking for the latest blogs and I don't think we have.
Have you not covered it? I've been playing with it a little bit.
But I don't think it was called out in the monthly blog. I thought it should have been part of that list. And I know that Aaron did some blogs.
Yeah, Aaron put some stuff out there and I know people have been looking for this for quite some time. And it's one of those things where, and let's be fair, right? This could have been smoother from a communication standpoint. There's a blog that went out and there was something that precluded the feature from going out when the documentation originally posted on this. But now this is out there and this is incredibly exciting because every now and then I forget that this isn't out there because I've read the documentation. And there was somebody who responded to one of my posts the other day on the data agent security where we were showing how row level security works with data agents on warehouse. And they said something along the lines of, well, it's impossible to do this in OneLake. And I was sitting there going, is it? I was pretty sure we dropped that. Did we not drop that? Maybe I shouldn't say anything yet. So thank you, Alex. I'm glad that it is out there and the announcement is forthcoming. This is definitely going to be something that is covered at Ignite. And it's a really, really big deal just because everybody's been looking for the level of security that we've needed to be able to have for some of the different SOX compliance stuffs, customer managed keys. We have that for SQL. We have that for warehouse. We have that for Lakehouse. And we have row level security, column level security, data masking, all within warehouse. And now we have row level and column level security also within Lakehouse, within OneLake. So that way, and if you set that up on your Lakehouse environment, on your OneLake, when you use the SQL Analytics endpoint, and this is very important to understand, that row level and column level security, that is enforced the same way as if we dynamically created that utilizing a script over in warehouse. But we've got a GUI interface for this to be able to set up those customized groups if we want to, or just to be able to add permissions for individual folders, individual tables. Lot of great features on this. Mark, go ahead.
So if you go and I've been playing with it and there's a couple of limitations in there, but one of the things that caught me out immediately is that when I applied it, I thought my data would be instantly hidden or it would affect it straight away. I actually found that there was sometimes a little bit of a delay of a couple of minutes. So I would get frustrated, think it's broken, then start writing an email, and then I go back to get a screenshot, and it would then work, and then I go. So
Do you
just
think
be a
this is
little bit
the?
patient.
Is this part of the metadata refresh? Do
No,
you think
no,
between Leica?
no.
No.
This is just it populating the security and making sure it works. So sometimes it will work immediately, and other times it takes a little bit of takes a few minutes. And I
Okay.
think the
So
only,
make sure you little patience. Don't
yeah.
enact it, but keep in mind it may take a couple minutes before you see it.
Yeah, and the only other limitation that is the fact it only works over one table, and you think that's not a problem, but you can't then join to a security table. So so all the logic that you have to do would be like a where clause, a predicate with column names equal certain values. I don't believe you can do a case statement. So what you can do is a little limited today, and it is going to be fixed. But just be aware that it's not as rich as row level security in the warehouse today, but it will get there.
Yes. And when I say dynamic, and I think this is very important for people to understand, because they're going to start noticing in our documentation when we refer things to implicit and dynamic. When we look at the implicit, we're typically using the GUI to be able to create that. When we talk about dynamic row level security or column level security, we are talking about something we can create with a T-SQL script and apply. And so don't think that dynamic means there's some crazy new type of dynamic bot level security that will be AI looking through things for us. No, dynamic is literally it's a T-SQL script that we can execute on the SQL Analytics endpoint to be able to set things up for Lakehouse, the same way that we can for Warehouse. Not there yet. And I think also there's some limitations with your favorite product, with mirroring for right now. And I think we've called that out. So I want to say that's in the documentation as well as a call out, but that's also something that will eventually be fixed as well, sooner rather than later.
Yeah, that got pulled. There was just one little issue that got found, so it was better not to put it out and wait and then put it out when it's ready. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, I've been testing it, and so but it's just not ready to go out to the world. But it's just the same as you would on a lake house. It's just the same because it's all delta tables under the covers. So all you're doing is applying that security on the delta table. There's a few, so when you create shortcuts to it, you can't apply the security on the shortcut. So there's a few things you might think, oh, I could do this. You just have to read the documentation and play around with it.
Yeah, and keep in mind there's limitations, but where there's limitations, there is work being done to remove a lot of those limitations. And so we're going to see that progress, especially when we hit the new calendar year. There's a code freeze that goes into place just to be able to protect around the holidays. And that was something that happened last year. It's a smart move. It's one of those things I always kind of advocated for when I was in Fast Track. Because we tend to do all these wonderful announcements and we have Ignite and things like that. But at the same time, customers have their environments, and this is a critical time of year for just about everybody, especially when it comes into retail markets as a whole. Absolutely. You're 1000% right, Alex. Black Friday and holidays. So real quick, just because he could not make it today, and I'm hoping he gets to make it next time, I want to hit the real-time intelligence updates for our good friend, Mr. Christopher Schmidt, the native graph connected for data insights for power intelligence agents. This is a wonderful new capability for visualizations that is there for real-time intelligence. I'm just going to make it real quick because I know we're about at time. New event stream source MongoDB CDC. So if you've got MongoDB with CDC installed and you're looking for live real-time streaming capabilities, this is something that you want to check out because you've now got the capability to be able to ingest that. There's a lot of fun announcements that are also coming up involving real-time intelligence. So I'm hoping we get Chris back after when we're in December. And then, of course, Event Stream supports with schema from an Event Hub source are in preview with different header-based routing, the capability to be able to set these and to be able to set schema versions as well. All right. So I believe we are right at the 10 o'clock hour. So let me go ahead and I'm going to cue us up. Anybody have a final word that they want to say? Not
Pineapple.
about Sean, and it has to be nice.
Pineapple.
If Sean, it doesn't have to be nice. Pineapples? Okay. Pineapples
You
on
said
pizza.
final word. I don't
You're
know.
absolutely right.
That was the first one popped in my head.
Yep. Pineapple on pizza for the win.
Eyeballs.
No.
Brad, I'll leave us closing here. The tech will always be there. Spend time with your loved ones. Holidays are coming
Yes.
up.
Yeah.
Be staring at the mobile and the computer the entire time. Just disconnect.
Absolutely. And I just want to echo that. Thank you, Alex. That is a wonderful, wonderful sentiment. We're going to see you all after the holidays. We still got some videos that'll be dropping the next couple of weeks. But until we talk again live, happy Thanksgiving to those who celebrate. Have a wonderful time and enjoy some time with your family. For Josh Ludeman, Mark Price Mayer, Miraj Jafari, and the Mr. Wonderful Alex Powers. Thank you so much for joining us on Tales from the Field. Be good to one another out there. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Love you.
Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be